The following program is intended for mature audiences.
National League Championship Series.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Houston just scored.
Damn it.
Yeah, home run by Mexican dude.
Well, that narrows it down.
A Hispanic man in an Astros uniform.
That really narrows it down.
On a baseball team, sure.
Oh, no, you know what? He's probably Dominican. That's my bad.
Oh, that even narrows it down more.
I know. Cardina?
I couldn't name 5 Astros. Let's see, you got George Springer, Jose
Altuve, Dallas Keuchel,
the catcher, Jason Castro.
Carlos Gomez. Valbuena, that's who hit the home run.
Valbuena?
Yeah.
Okay.
Carlos Correa, did you say him?
No.
Funny story. Apparently, my cable provider for the Fox Sports Go app, for whatever reason, won't let me watch sports in English.
Are you sure you didn't get a Canadian app and you clicked the French option?
No, it said Baseball de Grande Ligas. I watched the first 3 innings on my computer. I watched the last 3 innings on my phone in the tire repair shop.
How about that 7th inning, huh?
Oh, my God.
I want to know what you thought when the Rangers got that crazy run.
Oh.
I was yelling bullshit at my TV. I think I might have scared my boyfriend.
What exactly happened on that play?
Russell Martin was throwing the ball back to the pitcher. It knocked off the Texas batter's bat.
And rolled down the third baseline.
And the ump immediately called it a dead ball.
But that's not a dead ball.
No, it's not.
The way that it works is that if the batter attempts to obstruct it, it's a dead ball. If it's incidental, it's not a dead ball. But the ump called it a dead ball and went down the third baseline, and Udor, who was on third base, ran home. Yes, the dead ball call shouldn't have happened, but because it did, that stopped all efforts from the Jays to throw Odor out at the plate because they saw the ump and they assumed it was a dead ball.
Right.
You know what, though, Mike? Even if they had gone after it, I don't think they would have gotten him. I mean,
you can't. No.
But if the home plate umpire calls it a dead ball,
he waved it off immediately.
Right,
you can't
overturn. Even if he's wrong, you can't overturn the home plate umpire, right?
Well, you can if they have a conference. And he went to the other umps, and they all.
No. It's not the call so much that pisses me off. It's the fact that he called it dead immediately, and that killed any chance the Jays had of trying to throw Odor out at the plate.
Well, see, I still think that it would have been a very tough play because you couldn't have laid down a more perfect bunt.
I'm sorry. You can't just call a dead ball, which is basically assigned to the other team to, ease up and then
I agree.
Nope, it counts. No, I'm sorry, that's bullshit.
I'm just glad that everything worked out.
Well, it was hilarious because, that everyone's pissed off. The fans, it's like that episode of The Simpsons where they're all throwing pretzels on the field. My fans are throwing beer bottles onto the field.
Yeah, so much for polite Canadians, huh?
Don't fuck us over. Look, if the Blue Jays want to pull a Maple Leafs and choke of their own volition, that's one thing. But don't screw us over by the umps. That's where the politeness gets tossed out the window. But you just let everyone so pissed off. And then 3 straight errors by Texas.
They choked spectacularly in this game.
And it was great.
And the big one was the error that allowed the Jays to score and tie it up at 3-3 was an error by Udor. So it's like the baseball gods are real, and this is karma.
Would you say that Odor was stinky?
Oh.
That guy's name's weird every time I look at it.
When Odor had that error that allowed the Jays to tie it, it's like, okay, that's karma. Fuck you, Texas.
Was it an error? He just couldn't get to it. I don't think I would have called.
I can't remember.
But he, you know what it was though, and I'll tell you, I don't know who made the play, but somebody made a smart play by still going for the force out at second for the Rangers. So I'll give them that. Yeah. But the way they played in that inning, they shouldn't have ever been in that position to begin with.
I can't remember if it was an.
No, it was just a blue pit that just barely exceeded. Who played second? Is that where Oder plays?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Barely got past his glove and into the outfield.
Yeah,
all the runners had to hold up.
It wasn't an error, but I think he misplayed it. He thought.
Yeah, he should have had it.
Yeah, he misplayed it. But, the 3 straight errors by Texas and then the home run.
Oh, Joey Bats in that home run was just a fucking thing of beauty, man.
And then
the celebration just.
The celebration, he just looks at the pitcher. He's like, "What?"
Just throws the bat.
See, I didn't. I took that as him fuck you and your cheap ass run there.
Yeah, he threw it towards the Texas dugout. Too.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I thought he did straight at their
going nuts. The Texas manager was calling the police over.
People arrested.
It was just awesome, and
But he has to understand he's not in Texas where the police just bow to your whim because you're good at baseball. This is Toronto. We have a little thing called law and order here. Man.
Did they actually do something?
I don't know that they ever kicked anybody out. They may have.
They cut to a shot of the Rangers manager talking with stadium management and a Toronto PD officer. I don't know if anyone was ejected. I do know that after the bullshit Rangers run, they were throwing crap on the field. And you know what? I don't blame them because that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not usually one to like to see that kind of stuff, and they shouldn't have done it. But I can't get too upset with them for throwing all this shit on the field because look, in the grand scheme of things, it was the correct call. The umpire was wrong to wave it off immediately. I agree with you there, but in the grand scheme of things, it was the right call. The Jays fans didn't know that, and I don't blame them for being pissed because you look at it and you go, how in the hell did they just get a run? I think I can say safely that I have seen literally thousands of baseball games in my life, and I'd never seen that happen before, ever.
Yeah. This was absolutely crazy. When Batista hit that home run, I went from screaming bullshit at my TV to sweet Jesus, yes. My phone then got flooded with text messages from all my friends watching the game. Holy shit!
Holy shit!
Joey Bats! And you could just tell, watching the game, as soon as the ball leaves his bat, the Sky Dome erupts.
I'll tell you how great this game was. My girlfriend was watching it going, if every baseball game was like this, I'd never stop watching it. And the Blue Jays, you got to give credit to the Jays. They got up off the mats down 0-2 and came back and won this damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. I remember watching the game 1 of the series and just being this. It was just sad to watch. But go back to this game. Let's just take a look. 7th inning, you've got that controversial Rangers run. Then you've got 3 straight errors on the Rangers. Blue Jays rally. 3-run homer from Batista. 2 separate bench-clearing brawls.
Both of which were completely unnecessary.
Yeah. But still, 2 dugout-clearing brawls. Multiple cases of having to stop the game to implore the fans to end the madness.
Down.
Please try to restore some sanity.
All I kept thinking after that bullshit run was, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's still a bullshit way to win a game. I don't care. It might have been the correct call. It might have been completely legit, but still.
And Texas trying to get a fan eject. I want to hear it the police was look, you're just here to watch the game, eh? I don't know. What do you want me to do, eh?
What'd he say? Oh, he said, screw you. Oh, well, that's not very nice, though. Yeah, well, tell him to get out. Oh, see, that's not right and proper either there, sir. This ain't Texas where you just come around waving your gun saying, I'll get off my land. No, this is right and proper Canada.
It was just, yeah. I had been working on my house all day, so I literally turned on the TV at the top of the 7th inning. That's when I started watching. I didn't catch anything before that. I mean, I knew I had it on in the background, and I knew what was going on. I remember when Encarnacion, I saw him hit the home run to tie it up at 2-2, and I was kind of bouncing in and out. We were finally done, and I sat down and watched from the 7th inning on. So I really caught the very best part of it.
Isn't it amazing the difference between playoff baseball and regular season baseball?
Well, you're never going to get this. I mean, even a regular season game can be played out like this, and it's like, whatever, we'll do it again tomorrow.
It's a matter of passion. Like, could you see players or fans getting this worked up over a game in, like, the middle of June?
No, they wouldn't.
I can't think of another sport where the difference between the regular season and playoffs is this dramatic.
Hockey.
Well, but hockey's intense all the time, though.
No, there's a huge difference between there's a huge difference between playoff hockey and regular. You're going to tell me a hockey game that's played next week is going to? I don't care what happens. It's never going to come anywhere close to it's the first round playoff game. Nowhere close.
But you still have to play hard every day in hockey.
You have to play hard every day in baseball too.
No, the Los Angeles Kings have twice proven you don't need to do that.
Well, no, but in baseball, there's a lot of standing around, a lot of walking, and
I'm not doing this tonight. We had a great playoff game. We're not going to shit all over baseball tonight. Sorry.
I'm not shitting all over baseball. I'm just saying that the difference between like playoff baseball, when it gets this intense and every pitch matters, every run, every inning, there's so much immediacy that the lulls in play in the regular season in the middle of June, it's I'm at a baseball game, but in October it's, oh my God, what's happening next? Because the tension builds in those.
Well, see, I would take that a step further and say that it doesn't get this intense even in like game 2 of a playoff series. It has to be an all or nothing game.
I don't
like
know.
This.
Game 2 of this series is pretty intense, going 14 innings.
But the only sport that I think even comes close to the kind of intensity that any sport, except probably the NBA, has in the playoffs is football. The other ones, no, it never comes this close.
I would say baseball and hockey, they're definitely the most intense when it comes to the postseason.
You can get some snoozers in football.
In football you can get some great games in football, and then you can also get games that are absolutely meaningless, like whenever the Bengals play.
But here's the thing. The point I'm trying to make though is like if you're watching your team in Week 5 in the NFL. And it's a crazy game like that, you can get right on the edge of your seat, just like you could in a playoff game in the NHL or Major League Baseball. That's my point. Football is the only sport that comes close to matching just how everything is ratcheted up to such a level in the playoffs, like in the NHL and in baseball. I don't think basketball does this either. I don't think it comes close.
Playoff basketball just doesn't seem all that significantly different from.
It's not. You might get a stretch at the end of a game where it gets really crazy like that, but
or like you might have like like in the NBA Finals I've seen where like LeBron James single-handedly beat the Warriors for 2 games.
Right, but like if you're like in a basketball game, if it's the second quarter and you're down 14, it's not the end of the world. If you're playing baseball or hockey and you're down like 4 or 5 or 6 in the fourth inning or the second period, it's pretty much done. I think you're right, Zach. There's a big difference between regular season baseball and postseason baseball, but I stand by the fact that I think it's the same in hockey. I think a game in December, it just doesn't match up. But it's cool. That's what makes both sports so great is that you got to slog all the way through a pretty long season in both sports to get to this point.
There's nothing that will match like the triple overtime game I sat through last year.
I agree with you there. There's nothing in the world better than overtime playoff hockey. There's nothing can match it. Nothing even comes close. Nothing.
Before I die, I want to see just like, has it happened? I don't think it has. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals in overtime. Has that happened in my lifetime? I'm trying to think back.
The last time there was a Game 7 in overtime in the Stanley Cup Final was 1954.
Okay. We've seen a lot, though, in the playoffs, though, in the other rounds, right?
Yeah.
The conference rounds, yeah.
Yeah, but you've seen overtime winners with the Kings and the Stars with the Brett Hull crease goal against the Sabres in 99.
What a bunch of shit that was.
The only other one in our lifetime, Mike, was 1996. The Colorado Avalanche completed the sweep of the Panthers. Uwe Krupp.
It's Uwe Krupp, by the way, not Uwe Krupp.
The funny thing about I have a really weird memory of that 96 Finals because I remember the act of actually watching it, but I can't remember any of the games in detail. But I actually do remember being like on my couch watching the TV.
Yeah, I remember the fact that the Panthers were in it, and they played the Avalanche, and the Avalanche won.
That was the John Van Beesbrook Panthers, right? Yeah.
The only thing I actually remember from the games proper in that series was I remember thinking that the rats on the plastic rats on the ice were the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, the rat trick.
You see what this diabolical son of a bitch has done here, Mike? He has absolutely moved us away from one of the greatest baseball games you've ever seen to talk hockey.
You son of a bitch.
The Huns have been vanquished, guys.
The Huns have been vanquished.
Yes.
History's greatest monsters are dead.
Between the Cardinals losing and the Jays winning, it's been a great 48 hours of baseball.
I could have stood the Mets not losing last night, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah, the Mets could have won. Honestly, I don't care who wins the playoffs now.
Nope, me either.
The Cardinals are dead. The Texans, the Rangers are dead.
All I know is this is that the odds
You
are
almost called them the Texans.
I almost called them the Texans. Yeah.
the Texas of Texas.
Yeah.
But
Los Angeles, Texas of Texas.
we've got a very good shot at a team that wears royal blue winning the World Series this year.
Yeah, everybody except Houston, right?
Yep.
I don't know. Like,
Houston's
Houston looks
even
like
got
they might make Houston looks like they might be able to do it here. It's great. It's only 2-0, but you know.
Yeah, 2-0 in the third. Obviously, Houston saw that any lead can go away pretty quick.
Oh,
And that game 4 is a gut punch.
But you know what? I want to go back to the Blue Jays game for just a second.
Yes.
After Joey Bats hit that home run, the Rangers just quit. I mean, the way Adrian Beltre played that ball at third, I would have yanked his ass off the field. I'd be like, dude.
Just kind of kick stop. Yeah.
But I got to be honest. I mean, I've said all throughout since we started talking about the playoffs that I don't much care for the Rangers. I didn't realize how little I cared for them until this game. I was like, "Fuck you guys!"
Imagine that. I've been saying "fuck these guys" for 5 games. Screw these assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sucks to be them. Well, you know what though.
Really does.
You know what though?
Fine.
No team should win a series on a bullshit run like that, legal or otherwise. That is no way to win a series.
If the Blue Jays had lost that game, that would have been a
my
shame.
God, that would have been awful.
Crying shame.
Yeah.
You don't want to see Canadian protesting. That would have been ugly.
But you know what?
It'd be all orderly and.
The thing of it was though was like after it happened, I'm like, well, Jays, you just got to go out and get it back. And man, did they go get it back?
Yeah, that kind of pissed them off a little bit.
They came out with a vengeance.
I still think that Batista, the way the bat toss and all, that's like the best one I've ever seen.
And then the pitcher was pissed and then he started to try to start something with Carnacion, who's just sitting there like trying to calm down the crowd.
He's trying to calm the crowd, yeah. And
the guy goes up to him like, who knows what the hell he said, but.
It's pleading for sanity here.
I will give the Texas pitcher, though. I don't know his name, but I'll give him a little bit of props. Yeah, Dyson, with the Tulowitzki thing, I thought that was a classy move, and I think Tulo kind of overreacted to it when he walked by and gave him a little smack like, hey, I thought he was being a pretty good sport, and I didn't think that Tulowitzki needed to react the way he did. That I will say.
Emotions are running high, Greg. People
I know. I mean, you could easily
for their actions.
You could easily misinterpret it. I get it, but I just, but they quit. They just packed it in, man, and screw them. I'm glad they're going home. I've never liked them, and I'm just going to come right out and say it now. Screw them.
The other flashpoint of the playoffs. Chase Utley's still not safe.
Did he ever touch second base?
No.
I don't know. I don't get that.
Second base until they determined that, you're safe, even though he actually didn't touch the stupid base.
But how crazy have the playoffs been in just the first round?
Well, what's good about it is that we've got new blood, and we're not getting the same old cast of characters. And I think that makes a big difference.
But let's go back. It's so awesome that not only do the Cardinals lose, but it's the Cubs who knock them out.
I think to me, that reminded me of when Ohio State beat Alabama last year.
Anything after this is gravy.
Yeah. And I got to think if you're a Cubs fan, yes, you want that World Series worse than anything, but it's got to be a little bit better if you get it. You beat the Cardinals to get there to do it. Mm-mm. It's got to be better, right?
So are we going to discuss some of the Cardinal reactions? Some of the reactions from the best fans in baseball to that game, because there was one in particular I wanted to talk about.
Sure, go ahead.
Read this, just the last paragraph.
I did see this last part. Yeah, go ahead.
This is the best part at the end.
The playoffs don't tell you which team was best. The only thing the playoffs are good for now is giving one team a ring. Because baseball, and by the way, they started a sentence with because. That's just improper. Because baseball isn't about being the best in 5 games, and it's not about being the best in 7 games. It sure as hell isn't about being the best in 1 game. It's about being the best in 162 games, and only one team can make that claim. The Cardinals. 100 wins in the toughest division in the history of the sport, clinching the title, winning the toughest division in the history of the sport. That's your best team. That's your quote-unquote world champion, the Cardinals.
So are they going to give back the rings they won in 2006?
And 2011, for that matter.
In 2011, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's convenient reasoning is always my favorite. Where it's like, that's different.
I can't believe a fan would even sit down and seriously put that forth as an argument.
These are the best fans in baseball.
No, because the best fans in baseball wouldn't be that fucking stupid. So sorry, but you don't get to say that anymore.
I'm actually going to read a few choice tweets from the best fans in baseball Twitter.
Oh, good.
From Nick Shrenak. Cardinals fans are still the best fans in baseball, and Cubs fans still suck.
You know, I want to really quick on that. Don't you think, I mean, if you really want to get right down to who the true quote-unquote best fans of baseball are, wouldn't it be Cubs fans? It's easy to root for a team that's in the playoffs every year. It takes no effort. But the Cubs, I mean, now, granted, a lot of it's fashion and because it's Wrigley Field and all that, but there's some pretty diehard people that show up and watch that team every year. And,
you know, with closed bathrooms and no seats.
Right. And, you know, I mean, come on. So how about the Red Sox before they won anything? You know, I mean, I don't buy it. I'm sorry.
White Sox, too.
White Sox, yeah, they had like an 87-year drought. Another one from Moses the Leader. All Cubs fans happy. Fuck-ass team. We in the playoffs every single year. Faggots.
Wow, that's classy.
From Justin Gibson. Fuck you, Bryant. Fuck you, Arrieta. Fuck you, Rizzo. Fuck you, Schwaber. Cubs suck. Fuck the Cubs. NLDS. Cubs are losers. Hashtag STL cards. From King Barton. Fuck the Cubs. Good luck, cocksuckers. Hope you get your ass kicked.
Jesus.
Oh, these are the best people.
Another one from Moses the Leader. Cubs ain't been shit since Sammy Sosa. Fucking faggots.
God.
Great.
The last one I'm going to read from Sean Oliver Jr. Fuck the Cubs with a sick dick, gay-ass, stupid-ass, Windy City hose. More like Chicago C-words. I hope Steve Bartman ruins their chances again. Basically, if you go through Cardinal fans' reactions on that Twitter, you'll notice that Cardinals fans like gay slurs. They like gay slurs.
Well,
Middle America for you. You know what I think is amazing about the Cubs winning, too? That's the first time they've ever won a series at Wrigley.
I did not. That floored me. I mean, I know they haven't had that
really
many, but
considering their history, though.
Well, but you think of all the before when they went to the World Series or they won some series early on, that they would have won something at Wrigley Field.
Well, you know what though? The last time they were in the World Series was 1945.
They didn't have championship series back then, did they?
No, it was just straight up pennants, but. So,
they had some couple deep playoff runs in the 80s, though, and then recently, 10 years ago or so, they had some notable playoff appearances. So I guess it is a little bit strange, but with that in mind, it would have been hilarious after the Cubs won if they unveiled a banner. It's like, congratulations, 1910 World Series champions.
Did you see this stuff where? Why are they giving out hats and shirts for winning the ALDS? They don't say champion of anything. They just say, Well,
what do you mean why? You know why?
I know to sell things.
Right.
The funniest was the Jays cap. It said Toronto Blue Jays, and it said something like playoff baseball team or something. Okay. Technically, they could have worn that hat before they won the series because they were still a playoff.
Right, they could have worn that hat back when the regular season was still going on because they clinched the division.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Here's the Cubs' playoff history. Now that makes a little bit more sense.
Let me see if I can know it off the top of my head before you try it, okay? Last time they won the World Series was 1908. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, they made the series.
They won 08 and 07.
Okay.
They
went.
A dynasty they're going for
then
a while.
I want to say they went to the series in 32. Is that right?
Well, they went to the World Series a lot, actually.
Okay, so I know. Okay, 45, 32.
Well, okay. Here's their full history.
Okay.
1906, they lost to the White Sox. 1907 and 1908, they beat the Tigers back-to-back sweeps, even.
Didn't they lose to the Tigers in 45?
45 and 35.
Okay.
Then 1910, lost to the Philly A's. 1918, lost to the Red Sox.
Oh, yeah. The Philadelphia A's, okay.
1929, they lose to the Philly A's. 32, they lose to the Yanks. 35, Tigers. 38, Yankees loss. 45, Tigers loss. Then they didn't make it back to the playoffs
84.
until 1984.
Lost to the Padres.
89.
Lost to
the Giants.
Okay, yeah.
And that's when there was no division series, so that was the first round. Then they didn't make it back to the playoffs after 89 until 1988 or 1998. Lost to the Braves in the NLDS.
Okay.
Then they beat the Braves in 2003. That must have been in Atlanta. And then lose to the Diamondbacks in 07. Lost to the Dodgers in 08.
See, that doesn't sound as futile as you would think, though, when you think about the Cubs. There's more there than you would think.
Well, because you just think about they haven't won the World Series since 1908.
Right.
And they haven't been to the World Series since 1945. Those are long periods of time, but it's not like they were good and kept losing. Maybe they're just not as tortured. They just suck.
Well, one of the many, many curses that they blame things on, they've got the Billy Goat curse.
Of course.
And another one was something happened in '69. They were leading. It was the first year of the divisional series, and they were leading the National League East. Something happened, and they blew the lead to the Mets. So there was a shot they had. Every other time they've been close, they've gotten into the playoffs. I think. I seem to remember it that way anyway. But it doesn't matter. They're gonna end all of that this year. They're gonna win it all.
No, it's going to be the Jays.
Well, I'm fine with that too. Like Zach said, I'm good with anybody.
I think I'm good with anybody except the Dodgers. Really.
They'd be my least favorite of the bunch to do it. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Honestly, I don't have the Dodgers hate you guys have.
I don't hate them at all.
I wouldn't mind any team, honestly, but I'm just thinking, like, the worst possible scenario for me as a fan would be, like, Jays Cubs, because it's like, obviously I want the Jays to win, but, like, do I want to be the fan of the team that, like, killed the narrative?
Right. Really,
I've always thought about being on that other side too.
At this
point,
point,
you want your team to win, but God, the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, if they get to the World Series, I don't know how you could possibly root against them. I mean, I could see if the Jays were in, but for me, if they get there, I've got to pull for them to win. I can't,
But just imagine, at what point in their history the Cubs were back-to-back World Series champions? As my dad likes to say all the time, my grandfather was on a boat from the Ukraine on his way to Canada the last time the Cubs won the World Series.
Well, let's see. My dad would have been...
Yeah.
My dad wasn't even born yet. What am I talking about? My grandfather was 2 when they won the World Series the last time. Wow.
But the other good thing is if the Cubs win, then that makes the Indians.
That puts the Indians on the clock. Another piece of baggage for Cleveland fans. God almighty, that's just what we need, right?
I wanted to talk about something about football for a moment. Just a brief aside, if you will. The Oakland Raiders still giving a big FU to the league.
The end zones?
Yeah, the AFL end zones.
Yeah, they acquiesced and finally put the gold 50s on the field. They decided to put not the AFC logo, but the AFL logo in their end zones.
I love that.
I just thought it was funny. Like,
I love it. I think it's great.
I just thought it was funny that the NFL was like, no, Oakland, you've got to put the gold 50s on the field. And they're like, okay, fine. Also, fuck you.
Was it because of the baseball field they hadn't put them down, or they were just like, screw you?
That's what they were saying, that they didn't want to put the gold paint on yet because it was harder to get off for the baseball games, and that they were going to wait until the baseball season was over and put them on there. So they did, but those AFL logos weren't there before.
No.
And this isn't an AFL anniversary of any type, is it?
No, it is not.
Because I know there's some teams that use the AFC logo, but they didn't even do that. They went straight for the AFL logo.
The closest thing I can think of is that I know that the Kansas City Chiefs added the AFL Lamar Hunt patch on as a permanent part of their uniforms.
Right, yeah.
But I always assumed that was just because it was Lamar Hunt and, he was the founder of the AFL. So, that kind of makes sense. But no, the Raiders, just out of nowhere, stuck AFL logos on.
Yeah, and it was like Al Davis wasn't even behind it, which is what I think is even cooler.
The ghost of Al Davis still roams the halls.
Right, exactly.
I'm convinced. Okay, well, look, Mark Davis, I'm convinced, is that son that Al always said, like, that boy ain't right.
Royals are on the board, guys.
Yes, they are.
2-1 now. Lorenzo Cain just did something. I don't know what, but he ran a long time to do it.
Coming off the Jays game, I've got the Houston-Kansas City game. I've got it muted, but I've got it on in front of me. So then I just want to bring up, can Major League Baseball institute a ban on alternate jerseys in the playoffs?
Are the Astros wearing those stupid orange ones again?
Yes.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
And the Jays have worn their blue jersey for all but one of their games against Texas. They wore their home whites for the first game, and I think they wore blue for
I don't know why. I was always under the impression they weren't allowed to do the alternate thing during the postseason.
Maybe
Maybe it's just the World Series.
The Major League Baseball teams stick to their schedules. Like if Thursday is their throwback day, they'll wear the throwbacks in the playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah, at least that's how it's been over the last 5 years.
Well, we know the NFL, you can't do alternates in the playoffs.
I've also heard that in football, it's a lot like hockey. Like, you can wear an alternate jersey, but you have to wear it throughout.
Nobody's done that yet, I don't think.
The 49ers did. The 49ers did in '94 in the 75th anniversary season. Yeah.
And then the Chargers did relatively recently. It was the last time I think the Colts made it to the playoffs with Peyton Manning when they lost to the Chargers. The Chargers wore powder blue, and then they were on the road for the next game that they lost. But I think the AFC had home field in the Super Bowl, and I think in the event that the Chargers had made it to the Super Bowl, they were planning on going powder blue for that entire playoff run. That's the last time I remember it happening. That and the 49ers are actually the only two instances I can think of.
Sounds like the NFL has the same policy the NHL does. Like, you can do it, but you can't flip around and switch up.
Yeah,
Right.
you have to do it from the beginning. And the NHL is interesting because a lot of teams will kind of use that to preview quote-unquote new looks if they're going for their alternate full-time the next season, or even if they're just going with new looks. Like the Ducks did it their last year as the Mighty Ducks.
The Ducks have done that twice. They did it the last year as the Mighty Ducks. They wore the black jersey with the script on the front. It mirrored what they ended up transitioning to. The current homes, when they were the third jerseys, they wore those in the playoffs for 2 straight years before they became the home jersey.
And then, the Sharks keep wearing their black jerseys, but
Well, no, but if you
just
remember,
ineptitude.
Mike, last year they declared if they make the playoffs, they're going to wear teal.
They didn't say if we make the playoffs. They just said when we make the playoffs, they'll wear teal. And then,
Oops.
as you pointed out, Zach, to celebrate their 20th season wearing teal, they handed out black merchandise.
Yeah,
I see McDavid got his first goal. Is it tonight?
Yeah, Canadian Hockey Jesus got his first goal.
And an article on NHL.com is comparing McDavid's first goal to Gretzky's first goal.
It can't be good for the kid to be compared. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are. That's a lot of pressure.
Crosby.
Did they?
They did the same thing to Crosby, yeah.
Yeah, but Crosby's not playing in Edmonton.
Well, it's not like Pittsburgh's the middle of nowhere.
Well, no, I'm not saying that, but
But he's not playing for the same
Before
team.
Gretzky.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's the same team that Mario Lemieux played for. Hell, he played with Mario.
He did play for Mario, and he actually lived with Mario. That was
Right.
I find that hilarious, though, that was part of the plan. Like Crosby's
landlord.
like 18, and it's like he's going to move into Mario's house so Mario can keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Anyway, Buffalo. They have the greatest goal song in the NHL currently. It's an old throwback, and it's fun. I just typed in Buffalo Sabres, not Buffalo Sabres goal song.
It's no Sharks goal song.
Nothing is a Casio keyboard. That's for sure.
Well, what's the name of the song? Just say it.
Well, I'm trying to...
Do you know the name of the song?
I know the name of the song.
Then just say the name of the song.
Well, it's...
We're not going to be able to hear it anyway.
Well, I'm getting a link so you can hear it.
Okay. This part, Mike, I will edit out.
Yeah. The song is DJ Cool with the 1996 dance classic "Let Me Clear Your Throat." There's a video there you can listen to and know exactly what I'm talking about.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Momentarily got it out in front. There's a chance of a shot. Momentarily got it out in front. There's a chance of a shot. It's Yanko! Jack!
God, those uniforms are nice.
And Buffalo is on the board on the power play.
Woo.
Regenerat's the best.
Buffalo is making history in the team first.
Okay.
No, give it a minute. You gotta wait for the horns.
It stopped.
It stopped.
Yeah, it stopped. The video stopped. It froze.
Oh, it froze?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it's over.
Yeah, but this is okay.
Whatever.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I
mean,
personally prefer like a good heavy metal song as a goal tune, but okay.
It's no Wrecking Ball, but
It's no for those about to rock.
Fire.
or Chelsea Dagger.
Cannon.
I don't like the Chelsea Dagger tune, sorry.
I like the Chelsea Dagger because it's perfect for inebriated hockey fans to sing along with.
It's hard to forget the words to it, that's for certain.
Welcome to another episode of Three Drunk Guys Talking. On this week's episode, three drunk guys talk about Strombo.
I got a text a few days back from you, Greg. Thank you for finally understanding what the rest of Canada has known since this abysmal Hockey Night in Canada revamp, that you hate Strombo just like the rest of us.
I don't get it. I watched it and I was like, oh my God. He is so freaking out of place on that thing. It's not even funny. I wish I could make a joke about it, but I can't. He's just, wow.
The best way I can describe it to Americans, and I'm just repeating something, Zach, that you said earlier, was that it would be like if they made Ryan Seacrest the host of Football Night in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you might be a football fan, but no, you don't belong here.
Yeah.
I honestly thought, seriously, Mike, we've got the Center Ice free preview going on right now.
Yeah.
So I'm flipping through the channels, and I'm like, oh, the Leafs are on. I'll check this out for a little bit. I forget who they were playing. It was somebody I wanted to see, though, so I stopped on the game. And I look and I'm like, well, there's Strombo, and I'm like, well, they must be, doing one of those, promoting something else. And I went, oh, wait, that's right. He's part of this now. So I watched a few minutes and I just was like, oh my God, I totally get it now. I know why you don't want to. No, you guys would not be friends if you met. I take that all back. It wouldn't happen.
No, the internet said it best, Strombo going, welcome to Hockey Night in Canada. You're not Ron.
He's not good. He's not good at all. And he's just weird. It's just like, I don't know. He had this thing where it felt like he was trying to come out of his TV to get me or something, Like,
yeah,
come here, I want to tell you this.
He does that a lot. Like, he walks to the TV and puts his arms out, and you're like, get back.
He was sitting at a desk and he leaned forward, and I'm like, dude, you get out of my space. I don't want you this close to me. And then it was just weird, and I turned the channel.
And just looking at him, that if you were sitting next to him, you could just smell his cologne.
And he had an earring on.
Yeah!
And I'm not against people wearing earrings or anything like that, but I just think that, I don't know, to me, a hockey TV show is not the place where you do it.
No, Ron McLean was the perfect host of Hockey Night in Canada. He was kind of understated, knowledgeable, passionate Canadian, knew the game.
Canadian.
And then, it's Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah, Strombo's not a Canadian?
Well, no, Strombo's Canadian, but
he's not the right kind of Canadian.
No, he's not. He's a sensitive dude, bro. Fuck him.
It was just weird. I did not like the way he came over the desk at me like that. I'm like, dude, you don't know me this well. You just don't know me this well.
He's not Ron.
He's not Ron.
Thanks for tuning into Three Drunk Guys Talking Strombo. We now return you to your regularly scheduled episode of Basically a Sports Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs! October baseball!
Yeah, speaking of October baseball, Mike, you and your people were slandered this week. Slandered!
Yeah, what the fuck? Thanks, Fox, for ruining the first Blue Jays baseball playoff series since 1993 with some of the worst goddamn announcing I've ever heard.
In Game 3 of the Blue Jays-Rangers series, Harold Reynolds...
What the fuck is wrong with him?
Well, he's stupid.
Yeah. So, the thing that I don't get about this either is that the game was in Texas.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even... This wasn't the game, any of the games in Toronto that he said this.
Tom, we were talking about foul balls in the stands up in Toronto. And because there's not a lot of people that grew up playing baseball in Canada, they're not used to catching a lot of balls into the stand.
He said most people in Canada have never played baseball, so they can't catch.
Harold works for Fox Sports. The main hosts of their daily highlight show are Canadian, Jay and Dan. They have Canadian reporters like Julie Stewart-Binks.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, has Harold Reynolds ever heard of Larry Walker, a 7-time Gold Glove winner from Canada, whose Twitter handle is Canadian Moose Lips 33?
Maybe.
What about Joey Votto, NL MVP from a few years ago? Canadian?
I don't know. If you want to look at hockey, all of the goalies who catch pucks.
Well, those are pucks, Mike. Those aren't baseballs.
Right, it's much easier to catch a freaking weird-looking disc-shaped thing coming at you through a bunch of people at 100 miles an hour than it is to catch a baseball. That makes perfect sense, yeah.
The catcher for the Blue Jays, the catcher who catches the baseballs every pitch, Canadian.
Well, let me just say this about Harold Reynolds, okay?
And again, the game was in Texas.
Where it was 93 degrees at first pitch. At night! Cold had nothing to do with it. You talk about the statement he made about the Canadian thing, and then I think it was the next night, they were talking about the Chase Utley play. I swear to God, he must have said a variation of there's going to be a lot of conversation about this 35 different times. They'd go around the whole circle between the two other guys and him.
They're going to talk about this a lot.
And
this is going to get a lot of conversation.
I don't know, but there's going to be a lot of conversation. Well, there's going to be a lot to talk about. You know, people are going to talk about this. It was like, okay, Harold, we get it. Oh, my God, he sucks so bad. So bad.
Just get him off my TV. I don't want to hear him anymore. Now that the Jays are playing for the pennant, hopefully you can get some quality announcers.
Yeah, you get Joe Buck.
Yeah.
Right? No, where does it go? Where does the ALCS go to?
Joe Buck is probably in mourning court currently over the destruction of history's greatest monsters.
Does TBS keep the American League Championship Series, or does that go to Fox?
TBS is the NL, and Fox is the AL.
You're going to get Joe Buck, which honestly is a huge upgrade compared to Harold Reynolds.
Buck hasn't done any of the division series, though. He's been on football.
Yeah,
are they going to bring him back for...
I don't know. I'm just guessing, but I would guess so.
Joe Buck is dull as dishwater, but at least he's not an idiot.
Right, but Harold Reynolds is a moron.
What do you see what Jay and Dan did after...
they put up an Instagram post of them pretending to play catch, and Jay Onright throwing it over Dan's head. Just like, I guess we can't do it, huh?
Wow. But yeah, he is just so remarkably bad. Even the game today, he was just terrible. Just, oh my God. Anyway, okay, what's next?
Something I left out of the football show, and I don't know how I forgot this, Greg, because this was the most exciting play from Saturday's action. We just skimmed over the Baylor win, but did you see the super fat guy touchdown? 6'7", 410-pound Laquan McGowan. He's listed as a tight end for Baylor. He catches a pass over the middle, evades a defender, a Kansas defender, poor Kansas, and dives into the end zone for a touchdown. Fat guy touchdowns are the best.
Look at him go! Oh, what a move!
What a move by the fat man.
That Kansas defender has got to be ashamed.
Wow, nice move, though, yeah. Well, that's Kansas football for you, right?
Kansas football.
Yeah.
Come for the basketball, leave for the football. That's all I got.
Okay.
I've got one tab, actually.
Oh, well, take it, Zach.
Mike's tabs.
There you go.
In the tradition of the Vajankle.
Oh, God. Okay.
I present to my esteemed co-hosts
Jesus.
the heel dough.
Oh.
Okay, now I'm picturing using this thing.
Oh. So, yeah, I mean, it's in the vein of the Vajankle, for sure.
Yeah.
This is, the heel dough.
The heel dough, yeah. It's kind of self-explanatory. Just think of, just put the two words together
like
and make it up.
Straps to your heels,
right?
With the dildo coming off of it. So I guess you sit on it.
I was thinking. I was picturing her kicking, a little motion going there.
Apparently, you sit on it, and if you go down, you can customize it with different colors.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
What good is it without customization? Come on.
Yeah. It's on sale for $21.14, guys.
I think that's cheaper than a Vajankle,
Only 16
right?
left in stock.
Not only that, it's moving fast. You better get your orders in now. Well, that's a good note to end the show on, right? And on that note, follow us at Basically Sports on Twitter. The website is basicallysportshow.com. Stitcher, Spreaker, the YouTubes, and iTunes, right?
Yes.
Only 16 heel doughs in stock, so get yours now. Any final thoughts, guys?
$21.44, I think.
Plus $4.95 shipping.
Given the sale, you save $50.86 if you buy one now. At this point, can you afford not to buy one?
All right. Zach, any last words? I think we've weirded him out permanently.
No, I've got nothing left. I mean, obviously, Mike is just perusing Amazon for sales. 71% off. That's a bargain, boys.
That's a hell of a deal, really. I mean, if
Really,
you need a heel
really
dough,
is.
now's the time to get one, right?
That heel dough.
All right. Okay, that's it. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Please hang up and try again.